Well, one local organization is launching a campaign targeting schools in New Brighton and KwaZakhele in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro in order to address safety concerns as well as prevent criminal activity. Now, the initiative aims to tackle issues such as extortion and gang involvements in these schools. Vanessa Le Roux, founder of Parents for Equal Education, joins us now to weigh in on the safety of schools out in the Eastern Cape. Vanessa, thank you so much for your time today. So the growing issue as well as concern of safety of the pupils at schools has actually come under serious and sharp focus with reports of gang-related violence, drugs and even robberies on school premises. What do you think has driven this behavior this far? And do you think it's the negligence from either the department in safeguarding schools, or it's just part of what the current makeup of our society looks like at this stage?
Good afternoon, Alicia, and good afternoon to your viewers. I think it's a number of factors that contribute to where we are. First of all, a teacher are not even allowed to defend him or herself in schools. So in that manner, children always have the upper hand. What we found recently, and we must say it, and we must say it frankly, the issue that we have is that SABC don't take these cases, and the NPA refuse to take these cases, to work on these cases and prosecute the people. What they are doing is they divert their responsibility to the education department. It's 10 times worse when a child can't be suspended or expelled, but yet you have to keep the rest of the school safe. So if you ask me where the problem is, let's call a spade a spade. There's gangsterism on our schools, there's drugs on our schools, there's severe assaults on our schools, and that's criminal activities. And that is how it should be handled. But SABC don't come to the table. They simply don't come to the table. They refuse to take these cases. And in many cases, even with bullying, I always say to schools and parents, you must remember, a child's behavior escalates. Today it begins verbally, tomorrow it's physical. What do we do then? And so if you ask me what needs to be done, SABC need to take the responsibility of what they're supposed to do as the law enforcement agency and prosecute these juveniles. Because a child, there's no space for violence, gangs, drugs on our school grounds. So if they don't get rid of it, who must get rid of it? Because the teachers is not even supposed to touch these children when they are literally being assaulted in front of a classroom. The NPA don't prosecute these children. When a teacher was assaulted, the humiliation that comes with it, and tomorrow that same teacher must stand in front of a class and she have no authority. There's no respect for her because these peers have assaulted the teacher yesterday. So we must call a spade a spade. We are in this situation because SABC, law enforcement agencies, and the NPA, they are placing us in this predicament.
Vanessa, look, the Minister of Basic Education is currently on a drive to learn more about what challenges the different schools in the different provinces are actually faced with. And as we understand it, she will then table a report back and hopefully necessary changes will be effected. Do you see this working? I mean, she did say, I was speaking to her on Sunday, she did say that she is open to some submissions as well as suggestions by bodies like yourselves and even SGB to try and highlight some of the issues that you faced with at some of the schools.
They must stop wasting money, Alicia. They must stop wasting money on drives and fact-finding, and they come up with no new solutions. We are tired of listening to them going on places. She's on a national tour at this moment. Because before, NG and the Deputy Minister was on tour, on a campaign. They keep on being in campaigns and nothing is happening. Nothing gets resolved. So please tell her we are tired of their campaigns and their runarounds wasting our money. Because what they should have done, they should have come to these NGOs and activists and organizations and asked themselves, what is the problems on the ground? because they come to our communities for 5 minutes with all these blue lights while we are in danger, our teachers are in danger, our children are in danger with all the violence and drugs and manipulation, bullying and all of this. Now she first go on a drive and then come back to see, does she really think she will see the real version of what is happening? Because when she arrived, everything will look hunky-dory. She should have sat with the organizations first and then see what is the key factors, on what do we agree the key problems is, and then ask us, what do you think is the solution? Because we are the people that walks into schools with anti-gang units, heavily armed, with bulletproof vests, and try and address this type of stuff. We don't have blue lights. We don't have the brigades running around. So please tell the minister that she's already wasting money and she's not even there for 3 months a year.
Now, many schools, Vanessa, have different policies in safeguarding their learners as well as staff. For example, some way not even have a school safety committee to effect these safety policies. Now, in this instance, then, Vanessa, and this is mostly your disadvantaged schools, as we've made mention to some of the areas with the crime that is high in some of these classrooms. Can the community and even bodies such as yourselves, and including SGBs in collaboration with community policing forums, actually take part in addressing these safety challenges at schools then?
Do you know what? In the Western Cape, yesterday I had an issue where knife stabbings are being out of control. And I spoke to the principal at one of these high schools. And he mentioned to me, do you know what? There's a gap in the fence that they continuously break down so that they can go around and go out, buy drugs, come back to school, that type of things. But it's also open to elements to come in and out. And my suggestion to him was, you call a public meeting, because at the end of the day, you as teachers can only do so much. This is a collective issue that we must address. And I was speaking to community leaders and say, listen, you are pastor at the church. You know how many aunties and uncles is at home. During break, let them go and stand at that where the gap is at that fence, so the children go in and out. So that then we ask SABC to patrol in the morning when children go to school, in the afternoon when they come from school. But that's not happening. It's always an issue of no resources. SABC is the most reluctant department to help us in the fight against this violence and drugs in our school. So we are raising a generation where there's no consequences for the evil deeds they are doing.
Vanessa, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your input this afternoon. That is Vanessa Le Roux there on school safety in schools in various provinces, particularly the Eastern Cape and Cape Town.